no easy way to live your dreams by night by day. Just try to live the only way you know how. The world we live in is so intense, just trying to keep our mouths fed without forgetting what it's like to live. But as you keep the childlike joy alive, the fairy tales in nursery rhymes, I know you wanna have your cake and eat it too. The key is to bend, not break the rules. So keep your fire burning and never stop returning to what inspires you to live another day. 'Cause getting older, it ain't so bad when you walk your own path. But first you gotta get your feet back on the ground.
Hey, Andriana. That was
Hi.
great.
Thank you.
Or should I say Mother Coyote?
Yes.
I should say that.
Sure. I
Yeah.
love that.
Both good?
MC.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's the best.
Yeah.
Well, hey, that was very lovely, and thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so wait. Tell me a little bit more about, well, okay, we'll start with, who are you?
I'm a human being on the planet of Earth.
Yep.
And singer-songwriter, mother, yoga teacher, sound bath facilitator, kind of do a whole bunch of different things. Yeah, but I have been writing songs for many years and have recently transitioned from using my government name as an artist name to Mother Coyote in the last few years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why Mother Coyote?
So that actually came to me well over 10 years ago. Origin story is just like I was putting the cart before the horse. I was looking for some musicians on Craigslist to like make a band or something like that back in, I don't know, 2011, 2012, something like that. And was sitting at a bar having a glass of wine trying to like brainstorm band name ideas for this project that I can't even really call it a project. It didn't even last a month. But Mother Coyote just kind of dropped into my consciousness and I was like, oh, there's something to that. And so I just kind of tucked it in the back of my brain and it sat there for years and I kind of forgot about it. And then after having my first son in 2017, the name came back to me and then it started taking on a whole new level of relevance. Just the mother piece, and that was always something I was really resistant to transitioning into. And Coyote is a trickster archetype. So these two things together just started to make a lot more sense as I sat with it over the years, and then it was just like, yep, this is the new artist name, and people can spell it and pronounce it a lot easier than my given name.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
And it's a great name.
Thank you.
So way to go.
Thanks.
Yes, okay, wait, so tell me about the song you just played.
Peter Pan it's an oldie. Probably close to 10 years old at this point. I think it was one I came up with during one of the singer-songwriter challenges. The Minnesota group that I've been a part of every once in a while that was just a song that's kind of stuck with me. I've never recorded it, and every once in a while it just kind of pops back up as just feels good to play it, and it's soft, and
Yeah.
a lot of my songs are really dynamic and dramatic, and that one just stays pretty subdued the whole time. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Growing up, right? You have the line "Growing up is," say it again.
Getting older, it ain't so bad.
Yeah. Yeah, Peter Pan. Get over it. Come on. Yeah. Why did you write that?
So if I recall, it was probably around 2016, and I had very much been burning myself out working anywhere from 3 to 5 jobs at a time, ever since I had gotten out of college. Just various bartending, serving jobs, other service industry type things, and just couldn't do it anymore. And I had started my yoga teacher training and just kind of got to the place where I just quit everything except for one job, and just was really the start of turning my life around, I guess. And it was just shortly after I'd turned 30, or I think I was 30 that year. So if anyone's familiar with the idea of like the Saturn return, astrologically, it will kick your butt if you are not in alignment with what you're supposed to be doing with your life. And that very much was part of that. So it was just kind of this farewell to that, FAFO mentality of being in your 20s and starting to get back on track with life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because getting older doesn't have to suck.
No. It's hard, but...
It is hard. I feel like in my 30s, well, compared to my 20s, I'm so much more, like, okay with who I am. And there's so many things that I don't freak out about as much. I'm just, like, a lot more secure. And I'm just like, yo, I'm just me.
Yep.
I'm not this person or this person. And yeah, okay, have you seen the show Euphoria?
I have not.
Okay.
I've heard about it, but I've never watched it.
It's just like peak, like teen angst, like, oh my gosh. It's honestly like, okay, cinematography wise, it's incredible. And like, it's just a very cool, all of that. But it's just so funny because it's like, there's so much drama. And all the drama is just because these kids care so much about whatever other people think of them. And they're just so insecure. And I'm just like, I know that it's over dramatic and stuff, but it's just like, cool. I don't really think about it like that anymore, which is sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, okay, so then with art and with music and songwriting and stuff, like, I don't know. And society's like, hey, you got to make something happen before you're like 28 or else peace out, like...
Yep. In my head, it was 25.
25.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yep.
And if you're not like... if you're not gathering a following, then maybe just grow up and in a bad way.
Yeah.
Like, grow up and get a real job,
Yep.
Yep. But there are those of us who don't do that. And that's fun. So yeah, I feel like you have landed on a different source of fuel to keep you going artistically. Because I feel like when you're in your 20s, in your early 20s, and whatever the music industry says, like, artists are supposed to do, it's like, okay, I'm 22, I just released blah, 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 blah. And then you just spike, and it's awesome, and then maybe that catches on, probably won't catch on, and then you just go back down, and then you're just like, what's the point of any of this? I didn't succeed. And I'm just going to be sad the rest of my life.
Yeah.
For me, it was, I never had the spike.
Yep.
I was just always a nobody.
Yep.
But I found the joy in it for myself, and then I built a career around it. And so it's just like, I don't have past success to be like, oh, I wish I was there, but, okay.
Yeah.
Talk
Yeah. So I have come to the place... I am knocking on the door of 40, and I fucking love it. I would take this outlook on life more than anything in my 20s or even early 30s. Yep. So, because I don't care anymore. I'm just doing what feels right and feels authentic, and I don't I think things have shifted even just in terms of what people are resonating with artistically over the last 10 years especially. And like you can't keep mass producing the same thing and keep expecting just this mass consumption of the same thing all the time. So I feel like just with the collective landscape the way it is right now, people are just hungry for that authentic expression that isn't super highly curated anymore. And I think our generation, especially female artists, were really conditioned to think you need to look and sound one certain way or you're not. And I mean, I fell into that so much. And I didn't ever fit into any of it, which was just like, it, you know. And I can hear that in my old songwriting of like, you know, just not being comfortable in my skin yet, too. So, you know, I listen back to my first record just with so much cringe. And then my second one felt better. And then I just took all this time off and started writing all of these different songs. And, you know, just coming from more life and lived experience and doing a whole heck of a lot of like deconditioning work and psycho-spiritual therapy and you know, all of these things to just like untie all of these knots of conditioning that, you know, get tied up in you throughout your childhood and especially like your young adult years. So I mean, it just feels so much better and more comfortable now. And I think also just this notion that, you know, you have to make it. You know, we put so much pressure on youth and beauty and like especially again for female artists, and it's like that's so not the story for so many artists out there either. Like there are plenty who find their own version of success, whatever that is. Like Sarah Morris is a local artist here that I just absolutely adore, and she's done things her own way, and she stays pretty local, and like she's just like this beacon of radiance and a great community builder, and she puts a different spin on what success looks like to me personally. You know, like it doesn't have to be national or international touring or millions of followers or streams or whatever. You know, it just, as long as it feels good for you and it feels like it's something that is maintainable. Like I don't think I could go on tour at this point, especially with 2 kids, and like I like my sleep too much. And like, if I don't sleep enough and if I don't like nourish my body adequately, like I turn into a horrible person. And I'm just like, I don't know that that's something that I could do if like the stars did not align in like very specific ways, you know? And so I actually like, I'm so grateful that I didn't ever get what I thought I wanted when I was in my 20s.
Yeah, that is very well said. And, you know, just informed by your lived experience. And even I mean, yeah, there is something about like listening to a songwriter who has been through that stuff compared to a 21-year-old. Like, and this is not to knock on 21-year-olds, but like, why are we listening to them for wisdom? Like, obviously you can like you can have wisdom at any age, but like just like, I don't know. We even just, so many of the people that we hold up on these pedestals as artists and songwriters were like, you were 22 writing about like high school love stories. Why do, like, you know, like, why don't we listen to somebody whose life has fallen completely apart and they've gone through some stuff for 20 years?
And then they put it back together and come out on the other side.
Like, at least, yes, I feel like that stuff is just more timeless. And, you know, but I'm at the same time, like, what's my favorite record right now? Sabrina Carpenter. Like, you know, like,
it's catchy.
It's great. Okay. It's okay. Just great. It's great for what it is.
Yeah, we can appreciate things for what they are, and you know.
Yep. So you have a number of records out. You've got what in the works? What's
so the EP I put out in May, the first release under Mother Coyote, is a selection of 4 songs. It's actually from what will eventually be a full-length album. And again, I'm just playing the long game, and hopefully going to start recording some more of the songs in that collection, hopefully over the winter, whenever it kind of works out with life. Probably releasing another chunk as an EP before doing the whole thing. It's like 16 songs, so dang. It's a chunk.
That's fun.
Yeah.
2 questions. Yeah. First question, so you're at the point now where it's like these records are like little windows into your life at different stages of your journey. What does that feel like to you from like a legacy standpoint, or even just like a giving your life significance standpoint?
Yeah, I mean, so When the War Comes, that was the EP name. The whole full length is called Bury Your Weapons. So it's my individual kind of healing spiritual experience enmeshed over the top of kind of collectively what's been happening ever since 2020. So I started writing, most of the songs have been written from like the end of 2020 on, when we all just started collectively going insane. So When the War Comes, like I wanted to release that song, felt so just timely still. I had hoped that it was going to get less relevant over time, and it did not. But so the 4 songs on When the War Comes are just the introduction to the idea that we're kind of collectively and individually mired in this war consciousness all of the time, whether it's, collectively out here we've got the war on drugs and the war on whatever country, or, just all of the things. And then internally, we are always often at war with ourselves, even in terms of, what am I doing with my life? There's one in us that like has this dream or this direction or this thing that we want to do. And then a lot of times it's our conditioning from our parents or society of like, well, no, you need to do this. You need to get the job. You need to have the car. You need to have the house. You need to go to college. You need to send your kids to college, and just like bury yourself in debt for your whole life, trying to get all of these material things. And then we just kind of bury these parts of ourselves that we need in order to actually thrive individually. And then if we're going to collectively do something less insane than what we've been doing for all of our known lives, it takes a lot of work to like dig into all of those things to free ourselves. And then kind of the idea through this EP and then eventually through the whole album is kind of my personal process with some of that. And, then collectively everybody, hopefully doing the same. We're just this, what does the world look like on the other side? Is there another side kind of thing? So
yeah, I mean,
very existential.
I love it. And yeah, truthfully, if everybody were to take responsibility for what goes on in here, and like they're like, I'm going to process my stuff and deal with it so that it doesn't spill over into other people's stuff, like that's how we help things. Yeah, that's how we help society. Yeah, it's by dealing with our stuff. Yeah. And the problem is, I feel like, most people are on board with that, but then there are just a few people who are like, I can get away with being a meano, and I can convince people of all these crazy things, and those are the people that are often in charge of things. And
and I mean, I think so. Part of this whole thing too is like, where is that one in us that is always looking for the outer authority? So it's like, I think as soon as there's enough people collectively that really starts turning inward to like, what's this aligned authority for my own life? And, what we do, instead of always looking for being told what to do or how to live or how to solve the problem, like just being in our own authority, like there's going to be a tipping point where all of that becomes irrelevant, and all of those like crazy, maniacs out there that are in positions of power because we choose to give them our power. Like when we decide to take that power away, like there's a great meme out there or whatever that's like, some guy on a podium standing on the edge of a cliff with on a piece of wood or something, and then there's a whole bunch of people looking at him and being like, yeah. And then you see the people start walking away, and as soon as people turn their attention away, the guy falls off a cliff, and it's just...
Man, wouldn't that be nice?
I'm just like, I am a Sagittarius, so I've got this inner optimism, like, that just, I have to hold on to it, like, and, maybe it's just how I stay sane, but...
Where I end up is, it's optimistic, but ultimately pessimistic. I believe most people want to be good people and want to, like, be obedient. And that's the problem.
And it's hard.
Because it's like, okay, cool. All right, good news. Most people are very good-natured. That's great. Bad news. Shoot. Most people are good-natured, so they're not going to, like, be, like, overly questioning things or, like, yeah. Ugh.
And parenting is such an interesting microcosm of that dynamic, too. Because when you have kids and they're young and they push back on stuff, and then you want to just, sometimes it's a lot, and you just want to be like, just because I said so. But then I'm like, no, not just because I said so. I want you to think freely, but also you're 6. And, like, it's so hard to, like, but when we see how ingrained that dynamic is from the time that we are children, and then I've done a lot of reading and, like, learning about just certain, like, indigenous and tribal cultures and, like, the way that they treat children and, like, fold children into their societies, and you don't see this same dynamic play out, and it's like, man, how do we ever undo this in our society?
Yeah.
And it's just, that part just feels overwhelming to me sometimes, because...
You mean, are you trying to tell me that, like, white American norms are, like, not the best way to live?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right, fine. I guess I could play with that. No. Oh my god. Ugh. I could talk about that for a while too.
Yeah.
Oh, probably don't have time for that. But yeah, I agree very much with all of that. And okay, so I feel like the story of a lot of that kind of ties into my other question, which was, okay, you're originally from Minneapolis, then you moved to South Dakota.
From South Dakota, moved to Minneapolis.
So South Dakota, Minneapolis, back to South Dakota.
Yep.
And now you're moving back to Minneapolis.
It's in process.
Yes. Yep. Yes. Yeah, and, I mean, we were talking about it earlier, but, yeah, just speak a little bit about, your decision to move back to South Dakota and just how it fits in with all the other stuff.
Yeah, having the kids in 2017 and 2019, pandemic happens, everyone's world gets kind of flipped upside down. And, like, it was kind of funny because I was actually at that point really used to being in my house all the time because I had a 2-year-old and a newborn, and I had not really left the house a whole lot in, like, 2 years.
Yeah.
So I felt like, in a way, kind of insulated from a lot of the experience that a lot of people had with that sudden shift.
Yeah.
However, then, George Floyd and all of that craziness happens in the Twin Cities. We were just not in a super great neighborhood. I mean, like, I grew up on a farm, acres of land, and just, you can see off into the horizon is, miles and miles. And, then we were in an area that just kind of devolved really quickly, especially after all of that stuff happened. And, there's stray bullets and stuff half a block from my house on a regular basis. And I just kind of got to the point, I'm like, I don't have to live like this, and I don't have to raise my kids here right now. And my nervous system was just jacked all the time. And my husband is in the music industry and tours, so then in 2022, by the time things were picking back up again and he was about to go back on the road, I just was kind of like, if you're going to be gone 6 months out of the year, I'm like, I can't be here anymore.
Yeah.
So my mom was gracious enough to just let us move in with her, and we kind of thought it would be a short term, maybe a year, just let him get through a year of touring and do the due diligence of paying off the millennial student loans and digging ourselves out of that situation.
Yep.
And now it's been 3 years.
Yeah.
So, but it was really a healing experience to go back. It's what I needed at the time. And now, I've done a lot of learning and processing of being back there and kind of making peace with the place that I was from. And, I miss having a vibrant music scene around, and a lot of our community here, friends, and my husband's family still lives here. So it just, it still feels like home here too.
Yeah.
And it'll just be nice to kind of come back and, find our next space and kind of fold back into the music scene here and start playing more shows, because it's not something I get to do a lot of in South Dakota. So, yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Oh, that is great. Yeah. Well, this is lovely. Thank you for all your story and for sharing this song. And yeah, I mean, best of luck with everything.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah. We can just wrap it up there.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks. Boom, boom, boom.